How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Nerdy Basement Podcast. We are your hosts. I am the OG Osmosis, or just simply Ozzy. And as always,
What's going on, everybody? It's Eddie.
It's your boy Boozer.
and we are back after a couple weeks off. A couple weeks on. I think it was more than a couple weeks, but we were off for a couple weeks. We had some things going on, some film festivals to cover. We had some interviews that we had to drop and take care of. Hurricanes to kind of work around. So a lot has been going on here at the Nerdy Basement, but we are back to talk some more She-Hulk discourse, because there is some fun here to talk about and some not so fun things to talk about. We're going to be talking about the first 4 episodes of Andor, which have been a blast for those who have been enjoying it. And there's a lot of news that we're going to cover in this episode, but we're going to save that for the tail end of the episode. We're going to do things a little different this time around. Let's get into She-Hulk. I have not watched the recent episode because obviously, as we were saying off air, I got caught up today. It's been a busy week, but you guys have both watched it. So let me know what you guys think about this week's episode of She-Hulk.
After you, Boozer, go for
it. Sure, yeah. I enjoyed it. It was a funsies episode. A little sad at times. It starts. Miss Jen had kicked it off with what was his name? What was homie's name?
Oh, Josh.
Josh. They kicked it off together. They really had a good time. They started going on some more dates. They went a little further.
Okay, nice.
Further, and then she woke up and he was gone. Real sad.
Yep.
Real sad.
that was expected.
yeah.
But
and
in
then
this sense of
she sent kind of like a "Hey, I had such a great time" kind of text, and then got ghosted, and then she was really panicky about it, and then there was a glitch in Mr. Abomination's sensor, his little at-home detention sensor, and so she had to go with his parole officer to basically his little resort, little commune, which I was curious how that was gonna. Which is amazing, but
I'm just like, besides no Wi-Fi, I'm like, that place was gorgeous. I was like, that's the type of land I need.
So that's how the criminals get treated in the MCU, huh?
Yeah. So apparently, I guess when you have a bunch of wives, right? But apparently, it really was a glitch. Possibly, it doesn't seem like there's any mystery there. Apparently, his favorite chicken got out and he got shocked by an electric fence. And it messed with the sensor. So that got fixed. She didn't. Then there was a fight between other people learning in his commune that destroyed Jen's car. So she got stuck there, no Wi-Fi, waiting for that text. And there was just a lot of shenanigans between a lot of these random other Marvel characters like Mr. Porcupine and Minotaur Man and. I don't know the guy with the sword. What was his name?
No, it's Manbull.
Manbull.
And then it was I want to say he was a swashbuckler, but he was
he called himself a swashbuckler, but that wasn't his name.
His name is Aguila or something like that.
It was like Aguila or something
like that.
So definitely interesting. A bunch of characters, and I was actually surprised how enjoyable that was. That the banter and apparently, what is Abomination's real first name? Like the human name?
Polanski.
Polanski.
Yep.
Polanski is actually a very good group manager, like a group facilitator.
I'll let you finish. But
for the most part, it was cheesy, but I enjoyed it, and I just there was just a lot of banter. She was enjoying watching their shenanigans, and then she gets called out, for constantly checking her phone and being testy. One of the guys that jumped her was in this room, which is why she gets up and kind of attacks one of them. They really just slide by that though. Like, I'm surprised they weren't like, why did you attack me?
Yeah. See, I think so. I'm gonna just have to jump in because I think that was the stupidest thing that could have happened. She has a whole tiff about it and all that kind of stuff. But then the one obvious thing that should have been said was, who were you working for?
Yeah, why
was
did you
never said. Like, why were you doing this? And it was just like, okay, funny that you're here. What a coincidence and everything like that. But I'm just going to go. I'm going to have to just like jump in now. Like,
I mean, outside of that, like that was pretty much like I enjoyed the episode.
I think these last two, because I watched them both back to back, like 6 and 7, right? they're just filler episodes to me, and that's fine. I have no issues with filler episodes for the most part, depending on the series and all that kind of stuff. Could I have done without it? Totally. You know what I mean? Like her and Titania having the issue and everything at the wedding, and everything just kind of seems so like mashed together. And when they actually do kind of go with what is the main plot of everything, which is Jen trying to live with being She-Hulk and embrace who Jen Walters is, without saying like, hey, She-Hulk gets all the attention, but Jen doesn't. I think when they actually stay on that path, it works. It's fine. You know what I mean? Because that's the message. You know what I mean? You have to love yourself. You have to understand who you are, and that's fine. I have no issues with that. Now, how everything is just kind of going through the motions and all that kind of stuff, I'm just like, I'm not a fan of it per se. I do love the fun note that people are saying like, oh, there's complaints that we're waiting for the Daredevil cameo. Sure, I am too. I'm like, wow, they definitely waited. They're waiting to the last 2 episodes for Daredevil to show up, and I don't blame them. They want people to watch it. All good. Now, again, with what they do with the villains, that I think is one of my biggest things. Belansky, he was a badass. Literally, for the first episode, is still in jail. He was still the badass from the Incredible Hulk movie. Within minutes, they took their villain and made him a joke. Because I guess that's the only way you survive as a villain when you're in the MCU. You have to become the new joke. That kills me, because it's like, okay, you already made a joke of the Mandarin. You did all that kind of stuff there, right? Now, who was the more recent one besides that? They killed Miss Marvel's mother, but now the boyfriend technically is going to be the next villain, probably for the next one for the next season, I'm sure. And now Belansky is pretty much just another butt of the joke. They already ruined Hulk, so I guess they might as well ruin Abomination for me. And I think that's my biggest issue. It's just like, okay, you just have to become another joke just to be a part of the MCU. And just a lot of little things here and there that are just gripes with me story-wise, but they were fine. These episodes, it is what it is. Even with the new suits, by the way, that she got created for herself, the CGI when she's fully suited up in the daytime is so hard to look at. It hurts.
It's not so hard for me to look at, but it is way more noticeable at night.
Yeah,
I mean in the morning.
In the morning time, and that just kills me. But besides that, again, it's like when they stick on the path, it's fine. My gripes are completely like superficial. Obviously, it's like, okay, these are funny haha moments and so on and so forth. But, I could have really just done without them. The only big deal was when they showed that Josh is a part of this whole thing and our thing for getting the blood. Now, did he get the blood?
Josh got the blood, and that's why he left.
That's why he actually ghosted her.
Because he got it while she was in human form, probably when she was sleeping.
Yeah, and then copied her whole phone of contacts and all that kind of stuff. So that was like obviously
had
shady.
To be Josh, bro.
Yeah,
had to be Josh.
She should have felt some type of way when Josh actually was interested in Jen, and that was one of the saddest parts of it, is that he was interested into Jen and not interested in She-Hulk. So that's why it was such a big deal to her and all that kind of stuff. But that's all I really got to say. Again, like my biggest issues are from the villain stuff, and it's. And then certain story plot holes and shit. It's just like, it's dumb. Like I think these were just filler episodes for me. I hope next episode kind of just like gets back on track and we kind of get something new.
The next episode is the penultimate episode, so we only had 2 more episodes left. So
at least Daredevil the next one.
That's the formula with these Disney Plus shows at this point. It's like, okay, we'll give you 2 solid episodes, fill you in with 2 episodes, and then we'll kind of rush through everything the last 2 episodes. So given how the last 2 episodes are also 30 minutes each, I'm not sure how much they're gonna squeeze into both episodes.
Wait, so this is ending at 9 episodes?
Yeah, 9 episodes. Yep.
Why would they fucking do that?
So from what I'm assuming, from what I'm assuming is like, I think what Marvel is doing with a lot of these also is like, a lot of these are more bridges into other things as well. Like I'm pretty sure is it confirmed that she's going to be in Captain America? Was that confirmed?
No, that's just speculation for now.
Speculation. I'm assuming they're going to do
the connection there. This is just stuff that's been going on, but they did confirm it Talantia last episode. Obviously, for those who know in the comics, and then based on a little bit of research that I did, because I was not familiar with who Inteligencia was. I'm like, you know what? Let me go do some research, and see and get a little more background as to who they are and what they do in the comics. So the leader ties into Inteligencia. He's a member of that. MODOK is also a member of that. Obviously, we're getting the leader back. He's coming out of Captain America. MODOK is coming out in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So obviously they're building another super villain team to kind of fuck around with the new heroes who are going to be in the forefront. So that will be the big connection there. And obviously all the mutant stuff with, you know, Mr. Immortal and all that extra jazz, and more mutant stuff we'll get into later, obviously.
And I think I think they're going to do like new Hulks being created.
Oh,
and
definitely.
then in a movie, I think, I don't know whether it be Captain America or another movie, they're going to have to deal with these other Hulks leading around. I think she'll jump into
I'm hoping
like
that
a
does
movie or
lead
something like that.
to us getting Red Hulk eventually.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're
and
gonna
I think that would.
I mean, we have a little tidbit there. We'll talk about it later, but I don't know how they're gonna work around that, since, you know, Thunderbolt Ross, the actor, William Hurt, did pass away last year.
Yep.
And then we never got his daughter. You know, Betty Ross hasn't been in the MCU since the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And she becomes the Red She-Hulk. So it's like, I don't really know what they're gonna do with that. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not they can
and
only
I think
go so
that's
far
kind
with cameos
of
and Daredevil. So
if they go that route, I think that's also kind of why they changed up with like making Abomination. At this moment, I don't think he's gonna have some evil switch. But like, who knows?
I don't
maybe
think so
he'll come to help She-Hulk with whatever situation. And I know people that want Abomination to be the villain or to be a villain won't like that, but like, I don't mind it. I don't really have an attachment to Abomination. So I don't really mind the changes that they've made personally. I really could care less about like the comic book version or I enjoyed the movie, you know, the past movie. But yeah, I mean, if they made it like he comes in and helps and like, you know, does some beat downs with She-Hulk to some other Hulks, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Hulk, Abomination, and She-Hulk going up against a bunch of other Hulks?
Well, that's another thing. The show has been focusing a lot on Wong and his cameos. Obviously, heavy teases for Daredevil, who's going to probably be in a huge part of the final 2 episodes. We have not revisited Bruce again since he left the planet to go back to Sakaar. So it's like there's still a lot of plot loose ends that needs to, you know, plot that needs to be kind of, you know, wrapped up and, you know, at least revisited. Not saying you need to close them up by episode 9. You can leave those open and explore those elsewhere. As we mentioned, Inteligencia is going to be tying into a multitude of MCU projects going forward into phase 4, the rest of phase 5, and you know, heading into phase 6. But yeah, there's just some stuff. All I can really hope for when it comes to like the Disney Plus shows, at least for from a Marvel perspective, is that they stick the landing by the end of it.
Yeah.
But not a lot of them stick the landing. Like, yeah, they might be good from start or at the beginning and then kind of fizzle out in the middle, or not start off as strong, but then, you know, grow and be, you know, become a strong story by the halfway point and have a strong landing, i.e. Moon Knight, etc., whatever show, Miss Marvel and stuff like that. But yeah, they don't have a pretty solid track record when it comes to, you know, finales on the Marvel projects on Disney Plus. So I am a little weary on how She-Hulk ends. Listen, whatever. We're gonna get Daredevil. Everybody's waiting for Daredevil. Whoever isn't waiting for Daredevil at this point is, you know, you're lying to yourself. Everybody wants to see Daredevil. But, you know, that's not the end all be all to She-Hulk. I'm just hoping the story.
I'm enjoying the ride.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, I haven't seen this episode, like I said, but what I've seen so far, I've enjoyed. You know, a little shits and gigs. I call them shits and gigs episode. The wedding episode was just shits and gigs. At the end of the day, we're men watching a show that's literally geared towards women. That's essentially what we're doing. I mean, are we gonna like everything? No. Is everything aimed for us? No. But like you said, Boozer, we're just going to enjoy the ride.
I'm enjoying it.
But something I have been enjoying, at least me, has been Andor. Because, yo, I know, and I was telling a lot of people, I'm like, yo, this is going to have the same vibes as Rogue One, and it's going to be delivering something that people are not going to be expecting. And it has been. obviously we're getting a lot of negative feedback towards the show, which is a given. That's what every Star Wars project that comes out, with anything that comes out at this point, everything gets negative feedback.
Yeah, pretty much everything Star Wars related is just gonna get the moment it's really
it's gonna
be that negative
some sort of negative feedback. But bringing a character, creating a show alone on Cassian Andor alone, it's just like, even Ed mentioned on the podcast, you're like, Andor, like, out of all the characters, like Andor, like we know what happens to him in Rogue One. Like, do we really need to revisit the character, and what could they really bring forward, or what story could they really tell with someone like Andor? But I think this recent episode 4, is like really like hit home. Like, yeah, there's still a lot of story to tell when it comes to planting those seeds for the rebellion, and bringing that, giving more backstory to the story that we got to see in Rogue One. And then, like I said, episodes 1, 2, and 3 were great. Great building blocks to what we got in episode 4. The ISB, seeing more of the Empire and seeing them plotting and doing stuff, is like, bro, all the people complaining about this show being boring, not connecting to the wider Star Wars universe, no Easter eggs, no things like that. I'm just like, we are clearly not watching the same show, and we did not watch the same 4th episode. I don't know what copy you got from Disney Plus, but it's not the copy that I got. It's been super, super solid. I've been enjoying it, and I think I have it already. Granted, we have like 2 episodes left still, but I have it up there with Mando in terms of top Star Wars shows that have dropped on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's just I think I, like we said, like, I know where he's going.
We know where he's going.
I'm very surprised what he's done. So I'm like, I knew I was going to enjoy this, and I said it because I love Rogue One. I think is still hands down the best Star Wars story there. And for people to say that it doesn't connect to the larger Star Wars universe, I'm sorry. There's no Luke Skywalker yet. There's no Jedi at the moment.
Exactly. That's the thing.
You don't need that.
But that's the main issue. That's the main issue. A lot of these big content creators and a lot of these YouTubers rely on those big names to create their content. You know what I'm saying?
Course, I'm sure
they get their engagement based off those big names. So when you have a show like Andor, who is a much lesser known character, who's only appeared in a one-shot movie, is literally a one-off. There's no sequels to Rogue One. They all die at the end. There's no story to really tell with these characters other than going back to the past and telling their backstories to how they got to where they got to in Rogue One. And then for the show to really deliver to this point, they just kind of like stunned. They're just like, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not versed in Star Wars lore enough to really kind of go, or I'm not media literate enough to enjoy the story that they're presenting and then critique it,
Well, okay, so like before bad mouthing them completely, okay, don't relax.
We're gonna bad mouth everybody.
You don't need to, but but that's the truth. It is true. They know the big names. They know the. And
listen, I'm not super savvy. I'm not super versed in Star Wars. I'm not gonna be up here in front and act like I know every single planet, every single ship, every single character. You know what I mean? I've never seen Clone Wars, the animated series, never seen Rebels, so I'm not gonna be here in front and be like, well, I know everything. You know what I mean?
Well, actually,
see, I'm going to tell you like this. I've seen all those shows and I still don't know everything. And that's the whole point. The Star Wars universe is so vast. Like, this is the first time you're seeing, Andor's actual, his home world. Yes, they've mentioned it plenty of times and all that kind of stuff for him in Rogue One, and now in the series, you couldn't get anyone not to talk about Kenrin and all that kind of stuff, Kanarin and all that kind of stuff, like lineage and such. But it's like, this is the first time they ever showed it. Now they show that, hey, this was literally a planet that they just went to mine, take some shit, and they left it for death. You know what I mean? They didn't care that this was a class of civilization that was not, technologically savvy yet. And that's one of the biggest things that I love about this universe is that, for something so far in the future, every planet is still separated by a fucking universe, so it's like some of them are going to be as smart and as advanced as Coruscant. Most of them are going to be backwater planets.
Yeah,
and
how many get abandoned or don't bother? They don't have
or
enough raw
some of them don't
materials.
even. Don't get me wrong. I'm still surprised how they had all those clothes, but I'm pretty sure they got those clothes from scavenging from where they're mining, all that kind of stuff. So that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's where it comes down to. It's just a matter of, yes, like you just said, the story is building something. It's showing us how it got to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's what makes Star Wars so good. It's everything else that's happening around them. It's not just about Jedi anymore. It never
it was never just about the Skywalkers.
It wasn't supposed to be. It never was.
Never.
But so it's like, that's what we need to remember. It's like, this is something bigger. And that's why, again, if you liked Rogue One because it started building into the bigger story that they're used to, these are still the building blocks, and they're just giving us more universe. That's what's amazing about it. They're giving us already 3 different worlds that I never fucking heard of ever. And then but they're throwing out plenty of Easter eggs as well. Like, and you just have to pay attention.
And that's the crazy part, is that people are saying there's no Easter eggs, there's no references to other things. I'm like, these things have been mentioned before. These things happen, we're just now seeing it. You might not recognize it right away, like they're name dropping Coruscant, the ISB, like there's they want to steal these plans. They're building up to want to steal these plans. They want to start a rebellion. They're literally planting the seeds to everything that we already know is going to happen. It has already happened. So it's either you're not paying attention or you just need a refresher, which is perfectly fine. We all need a refresher at some point whenever we're watching anything new or revisiting an old story. But to say that Andor has not been delivering within these 4 episodes, which have been super, super strong episodes, compared to something like, let's be honest, Obi-Wan, which was not hitting as hard as
this show is so boring. Ozzy, this show is so boring and dull.
Bro, it is.
Quick question.
It is so good.
I definitely will admit I am probably the least knowledgeable in Star Wars lore here. Is this based off of, at least the narrative that we're seeing in the story, is this based off of any like already written established books or anything like that? Or is this like the story technically exists in the lore of Star Wars, but like we're kind of getting like an original, like fresh story essentially?
I want to say it's that. I don't think there's nothing written about all this, you know what I mean? I think
we just know the character existed. He, Rogue One, stuff like that.
But so, again, I think they just built all.
They're building back essentially, which I think for people that are like so annoyed about like sequels and reboots and stuff, I feel like this is good because even though it's another aspect of a franchise, it's still something like original. You know what I mean? Like it's it's giving something fresh and original and like, building backwards in a world that's so vast. I don't think you can really go wrong with that. Like think of how big this they're going to different galaxies. You know what I mean?
In different planets.
They're going through hyperspace.
Do you know how vast how expansive that world building can be?
There's some sci-fi stories that like The Expanse. I think like they're just in like the moon, and I think they get to Mars, and that's like pretty much it. Like they're not like going into other galaxies or anything like that. But it's so vast that like there's so many things that have happened in this. If you like, you can just build that like so many different planets and so many different people trying to go against the Empire. You really can't go wrong with building backwards and telling us stories, even if we know the rebellion happens, this happens. It's still interesting to see what the journey was to get there. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell you how many times I've watched Knives Out. It's me and my fiance love that movie so much. We know the end goal, like we know the mystery because we've seen it, but it's still such a good movie to watch. Sometimes it's just good to see the journey. Especially if these are fresh journeys that aren't just like, okay, we're taking a book and we're making it a TV show or a movie. I think that's interesting. And like me being someone that does not know a ton about Star Wars, I'm super invested in into Andor. Like I'm super intrigued.
And to build off that, I think that's what made shows like the Clone Wars and Rebels and things like The Mandalorian, and even if Boba Fett wasn't the biggest thing, things like the Book of Boba Fett that much more interesting, because these are stories that we know the lore, we've heard of the lore, we've heard of these stories, but seeing it fleshed out, seeing it happen, having these fans come in as creatives now, creating new characters, creating new stories. Like if it wasn't for Dave Filoni coming in, creating Clone Wars and creating Ahsoka and stuff like that, we wouldn't be talking about them at now, or seeing Ahsoka in live action. If it wasn't for Jon Favreau creating the show of The Mandalorian, we wouldn't have that story of The Mandalorian, and then 3 seasons expanding that Rebels and Clone Wars storyline the way he's expanded it. So, like you said, building back to further explore the world building, because again, we're in literal space. It is literally endless. So you can just create offshoots of almost everything and anything in Star Wars, and it can work, whether it be a hit or whether it be a miss. It can work.
Yeah. See, my only worry is obviously because with prequels, like if they see that it's that popular, that they try to prolong it more than it needs to. I just hope that as long as they don't, as long as they try not to milk this and just give him where he needs to be, you know what I mean? Max maybe 2 seasons, if that. You know what I mean?
I think going more than the already confirmed 2 seasons, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
I think it's going to be perfect if they do 2 seasons, because even then, because the moment that they give him the mission to say, hey, we need you to go and get this girl because so on and so forth, and I think that leads into Rogue One storyline. I'm like, I think that's all I need. I need to see that very finished thing, because that's what I love prequels about, because like I know that, hey, this was the decision here, this conversation is the reason why everyone's dead. And then I'm gonna be like, oh my god, this is when it happened. Like, you idiots! Like, you had a chance, you could have changed history, but you did it because this is the past.
Even in this episode, even like going back to this week's episode again, like when he's talking to Luthen in that little hut, and he's talking about, it's easy for me to just infiltrate, just grab their gear and dress up as one of them. And it's like, bro, they're already planting seeds for what he's gonna do later on. He already know how to do this. We just need to get to the point to where he does it. Or obviously the precursor of what it took to get to what he does. So it's been fun. I've been enjoying every single minute of Andor, and I did not think I would be enjoying the show, because I didn't think that we're going to be able to pull anything off with this show, given the character that was the focal point of the story. You know what I mean? So I was just like, this show, I'll watch it. I like Star Wars. I'm gonna watch it. But I didn't think I would be enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying it. So
the saddest part is that we don't get more of B the robot in our thing, because that little guy, love him.
Every robot they introduced in this goddamn universe, every single one. Even in freaking Obi-Wan, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm just like,
so for me, 3 big little takeaways that I loved about this was, one, when he was like, how did you get it? Just how did you get the box? And he's like, they just don't pay attention. They don't think it's possible to just that someone will just walk in. And I was like, he's right though. Like every movie we've all seen, they're just like, yep, we're just taking over the galaxy, and they're just doing their marching. They're just so full of themselves that they're just the best. And then like I love the main commander or whatever that's like trying to go. Literally, his captain figured out the whole thing. It was like, listen, these guys are doing some shit they weren't supposed to. Within 2 seconds, he's like, they were doing some shit they weren't supposed to do. They got the wrong dude. He's like, they got the wrong dude. He was probably in his right to kill them. We're just gonna cover this up and like make them not heroes, but like, so it's like not super sad that they're dead. And then that guy was like, I'm gonna do extra credit. I just can't let this slide. He's
the one who goes above and beyond, but still fails.
He's that guy he's that employee that everyone has worked with. That's just like, you're gonna fuck my day up, aren't you? Because you're gonna do something that you don't gotta do, and it's gonna make my job today harder.
That much harder.
And guess what? He does that, and he gets some people killed. He makes everyone's life that much harder. And I didn't see episode 4, but I'm assuming he gets chewed out for this shit.
Well, but like, bro,
and then lastly,
is literally like literal peak Star Wars, bro. Then from start to finish.
By the way, his little like temper tantrums when he's like, "Yeah, this is ridiculous. The word," but his little temper tantrums were hilarious. But the last thing that I had to point out, it was one of the dumbest things I think I've seen in Star Wars. This man, everyone had like their guns out and they're like, don't move. And he just sees like she's bleeding. She looks alive. Like, she looks more than alive, but she's bleeding. And he's just like, who did this? And then runs at men with guns. What did you think was going to be the end result there? You just got shot, my guy. You did. Like, what did you? Who did this? Who made her bleed her own blood? Like, that I was like, come on, my guy.
The logic there is the logic there was
sometimes. Well, again, a man that is unarmed. Do you really assume that he's supposed to get shot? Maybe knocked in the face real quick and everything, but no.
Yeah, and I get because
they were scared of the unarmed.
The soldier had his like gun taken from him and whatnot because they weren't supposed to shoot, but they were pointing their guns at you.
Again, you can point him so that he turns around, but take the shot. It's like, are you shitting me? He was like, he's literally has nothing in his hands. So, but this series so far is freaking amazing. I'm loving it. I knew I was going to probably fall in love with this but again, I know he dies and it sucks. But he does a cool ass job doing it. So that's what matters. Right. That's another thing. It's either he meets what's the robot in Rogue One? Like it's
KSO something.
Yeah, KS or whatnot. Yeah, something that it's either he meets him and that's the end of the series for the series and all that, or it's they give him the mission.
K2SO. I was close. I was just missing it. I was just missing it.
Dude, Star Wars has like the secret sauce in just making robots like just gut-wrenchingly important to us.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
Every single droid.
Honestly, what I'm hoping is he meets K2SO either at the end of this season or at the end of the second season.
Yep.
And he meets Jyn Erso at some point. Even if they show her or just like a hologram, oh, this is who you need to find.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's exactly how it's supposed to be. That should be the very end. He finds Case. He has.
And that's his mission. Yep.
And then now they give him the mission to the next one because that's exactly how the Rogue One starts. They find that that's his mission, and that's what they do.
Watching the show. Yesterday I was watching the episode, and as soon as it finished, mind you, I was watching this episode like at midnight, and this is an hour long. It's like it's 1 a.m. Can I power through Rogue One right now, or can
Damn.
I was like, nah, I'll save it for another day. Wait till the season is over.
No, I'm excited as hell to watch it. Like, see, and and this is where it's going to be one of the biggest things for all the people talking so much shit about all this kind of stuff. The best thing that's going to end up being able to happen is that they're going to be able to watch all these movies and shows chronologically. And then now they're going to be like, oh, what a huge universe this is, because that's exactly what it is. It's literally, they're going to be able to get the building blocks from episode 1 all the way through, get the and then go to Andor, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Because now that's going to be one of the more earlier ones and all that kind of stuff of the actual timelines. They could watch all these other shows and all that kind of stuff. And, this is where it builds up. Like, yeah, it's a prequel right now that doesn't talk about Jedi right now. We're going to get Ahsoka soon. We're getting her later.
Which will be
which will be very Jedi, which will be very lightsaber heavy.
Oh, and I'm so happy that they found,
which I think is great.
Ezra, which is amazing.
We can get a show that has like nothing to do with like lightsabers, and then we can get a show with the fun lightsabers. Like
the thing is, if Mando worked,
so good,
right? If Mando worked without any Jedis, without this is before bringing in Ahsoka into the fold, before bringing in Luke Skywalker. If we were able to focus on Mando and the mystery behind who this Mandalorian is, right? Who is not necessarily a Mandalorian, but he's still in Mandalorian armor, and follow his journey in protecting this essentially baby Yoda. Right? No, he's not a Jedi yet. He's not one with the Force. Yeah, he showed hints of it. There's nothing related to any Jedi Knights. The Sith Lord's nothing. Is a bounty hunter protecting this child. We enjoyed the shit out of it.
Yep.
Why can't we just enjoy Andor for the same reasons?
Yeah. This one is more of the actual espionage, rebellion building. This is that story. Like, just understand that is this story. It's not about the same.
And it's beautiful
right now. It is amazing. I think it's great. They're doing such a good job. So
I just love the idea of so many important players. Like, and it should be like taking down an empire shouldn't just be one man with a lightsaber. It had to involve
Mhm.
more people, more moments, more crazy ideas, and it takes a galaxy to stop a force like that.
Right.
So I love that idea of us
I don't
seeing
think
these
people
different.
realize how many people sacrifice their lives in
Yeah,
order to bring down the
absolutely.
empire. And I think stories like
Yeah.
this do highlight how many people it took to just take down such a
this one
beast,
force,
this one galactic force that just,
and
like
just
he said, he has a
barely.
chokehold. It literally, this galactic force who literally has the universe in a literal chokehold, literally.
Mhm.
So I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I don't know. People need to just watch it, enjoy it, enjoy the ride. You'll enjoy the payoff.
And lastly, everyone giving shit about Obi-Wan and then like walking through with the little girl and everything in the coat. Well, clearly we know that they just don't fucking pay attention to shit because they just can't imagine anyone sneaking in. So everyone's just fucking oblivious.
Yep. Future,
like,
man.
Like whenever you hear, hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, work. That's literally what it is. Hey, what are you doing there? You're there.
You have your ID? I left my ID in the other ship. Well, don't forget it next time.
Everybody just wants an easy job, just
right?
Like we wouldn't have a story if there wasn't that one guy.
Dude, you got to think about there's not really. I'm assuming there's not many retail jobs in there. You can imagine how many odd, just repetitive nonsense, stupid guard jobs there are, and how they just want to go home. Like, listen, I could say something right now. It's going to be a lot of paperwork. All right, just ignore it. Just ignore it.
It was perfect.
I do not get paid enough credits for this shit.
That's essentially what it is. I don't get paid enough credits. I can't feed my family doing all this extra paperwork. But anyway, we're gonna leave Andor there. We're gonna start covering a ton of the news that we have.
God damn.
I'm included. Honestly, the bulk of it is literally a lot of the anime stuff that came out this past week, and most of it's just premiere dates. We're heading into October, so the fall anime season is super, super stacked. Hollywood as a whole, in the entire month of October, it is stacked with releases, whether it be films, whether it be TV shows, anime shows. You name it, it is super, super stacked. So to get, we're bringing in the anime stuff. We haven't recorded an anime pod in a few weeks now, maybe like a month.
Oh, shame on you.
Yeah, I know. That's literally all on me, to be completely honest. That the last thing we talked about was literally Dragon Ball Superhero.
Oh shit.
So that was literally like a month ago, honestly. But yeah, we're gonna.
I still need to do some catch-up episodes for God's sakes. Like, trust me, I get it.
If people only knew how busy we were in our personal lives and then behind the scenes on this, then they will completely.
Your boy's getting married on Saturday.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! Congrats, my guy.
Weather's not looking so good, but we got some plans. We got some plan Bs figured out.
Oh god, it's like, well, funny enough that my boy's wedding got rained out, so we had to move it inside. But then the rain dried up, and then we got outside again, but it was all muddy. So but the actual ceremony got moved inside. So shit happens.
Our plan was for an outdoor backyard wedding, but the rain is looking at 90% right now. So
we'll see.
We have figured out a temporary plan B. We'll make it work.
Yeah, you guys will make it work. Early congrats. So everybody listening, watching on YouTube, whatever, comments, Instagram DMs, whatever.
Will be a Mrs. Boozer after Saturday.
A Mrs. Boozer after Saturday. We'll bring on the pod one of these days so she can talk.
She loves anime now, and she loves superhero stuff. I love superhero stuff.
It's funny. This is actually
we go to every Marvel movie.
Me and my girls' anniversary this weekend too. So that's hilarious enough. Yeah. So, but our shit might get rained out over here in Charlotte. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Everybody's getting rained out. Guess what I'm gonna be doing? While it's raining, I'm gonna be home watching Hocus Pocus. That's what I'm gonna be doing, and watching all this new anime that we're gonna be talking about.
Oh my god! Take us away, Ozzy.
But yeah, so a whole bunch of new dates here and a whole bunch of announcements, and I can just fly through all of this. Chainsaw Man, obviously super hype. We finally got a release date for that.
I need to start that one day,
bro. If you haven't read
the manga's great.
Oof, bro.
But isn't part of the whole thing seeing him chainsaw through things? No.
Yeah, the art is fantastic.
Yeah, the art is fantastic.
The art is absolutely fantastic.
The story is cool. The gore is great.
It's well drawn.
The characters are great. The character designs are great. The animation, obviously, if you haven't seen the trailer, definitely check it out.
Yeah. See, I want
super
like
good.
I think I'll just go right to the anime. I don't think
Yeah,
it
hasn't. You know, it'll be the first season, so you can jump right into it.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah, this is the
I feel
first
like
season
way
for
that,
Chainsaw Man.
I feel like
Yeah.
I've been seeing so much about
Because the
Chainsaw
manga,
Man that like it looks like it's just an anime. Like I thought it was been on for a while, but okay, fair enough.
No,
Hey,
it is actually
you can just jump
premiering.
right
Yeah,
in.
the first episode premieres October 11th, so that's streaming on Crunchyroll. So if you have Crunchyroll, you guys can watch that on October 11th. Hunter x Hunter is also back this fall, November 4th. It'll be back with a new manga. Volume 37 is releasing on November 4th. Wolverine season 2 has also been announced for January 2023.
Quick side note, that is
I know
a
you watch
wholesome
Wolverine.
anime. I did not expect an anime with like just like a girl that just wants to have fun in a game and she doesn't really care about anything. She just doesn't want to get hurt. And she breaks the game, basically. It's so wholesome. She literally just doesn't want to get hurt, so she maxes out her defense. That's like the additional part of the title.
Yeah,
that's why I shortened to Bofurry.
Yeah.
So that's why I just shortened to Bofurry, but it's a long ass title. But in doing so, she just stumbles into game-breaking mechanics. She somehow finds every glitch, every game-breaking thing that she can get, all by accident, just having fun playing the game. And the developers of the game are like, dude, she's breaking this. Like, she's just OP. And they're like trying to nerf her and they just can't. It's just so fun. It's like a very wholesome anime. I couldn't recommend it anymore.
Everybody has a few months before season 2 premieres.
Yes, it's season 1's a quick binge. Watch it. It's so wholesome. It's so fun.
We also, the one I'm really looking forward to this fall is Blue Lock. That looks really, really fun. It's super action packed. That's going to premiere October 8th. And it'll be listed for 24 episodes with 2 cores back to back. So there's no breaks in between the cores. So I'm super excited about that. Rurouni Kenshin, the reboot anime. The trailer released this past week, and that's also arriving in 2023. No specific date. But yeah, in 2023, it looks really good. It looks good.
I just assumed that they're probably just not going to kill him toward the end, like they did with the original, because
yeah,
like he
probably,
dies.
I mean, who knows?
Because that's usually what happens. Like I remember thinking about it with Full Metal Alchemist when they made Brotherhood, instead of them actually just getting sent over to the other world, to our world during World War II,
right?
They ended up having a happy ending. I think if they're going to reboot it, they're probably going to end up doing that because. You know, that's just what people usually do. Unfortunately,
they got to keep him. They got to they got to kill him at the end.
I think so. Well, at least like just say if he gets old, sure, fine. But he did. It was kind of a cop out. Like, you know, he got a disease at the end of that movie. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, fuck. I was like, that's messed up. But like, strongest fucking swordsman around. He turned good. Now he dies from a disease. I'm like.
Got him.
Well, that's how life gets you.
Yeah, that's
how life gets you.
I was like, fair enough. But I was just like, damn, man. I was like, kind of fucked up. I was like, not dying by the sword, though. Man.
Nah, see, he's the one samurai who didn't get to die by the sword. He died by natural causes and shit. A real thug.
Word up.
But yeah, so Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Obviously, there's a lot of hype surrounding this new season. We're getting a new teaser on October 1st, which is Saturday. We're getting another follow-up teaser on October 8th. And then the premiere officially will be on October 10th. And it's also premiering at New York Comic Con.
And we still don't know where we can watch it in the US.
We still don't know where in the US we can stream this other than New York Comic Con if you're there in person.
If this is a marketing decision and not just like they're still trying to figure out like who gets to have it.
Right.
It's the dumbest marketing decision ever.
It is the dumbest marketing decision. But
and also if it's still people trying to figure out like, oh, who, like if it's like a bidding war on who's going to get to stream it, that's also dumb. That's also dumb.
Disney Plus.
It's not going to. Yeah, I'm with you on this.
It's not going to Disney Plus.
I'm with you on that.
I think we can hit that one again in the buzz. It's not.
People still think it. I'm with you on the not Disney.
I'm gonna go on a limb and assume that we get an official announcement at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, if not, we just ain't getting in the US.
Yeah, exactly. Either prior to the episode premiering there or post premiere.
Yeah,
we'll get an official announcement. Or this is my second theory. They drop it on Crunchyroll immediately after the premiere, kind of like what they did with Bleach 1000, the 1000 episode. They streamed it. I believe it was Anime NYC. It premiered there first, and then immediately after, it dropped on Crunchyroll so people can watch it. So I think they either do something like that, or they just announce when you can
just tell us where we can watch it. It's not that
where
hard.
You can
people.
watch it. So I don't know. I don't understand the big mystery behind where you can watch Bleach.
Just tell us where we can watch it.
Well, you could just read the manga and then be disappointed there. All right, I'm just
hey, listen,
I'm just being honest.
Bleach gets a lot of hate for falling off. I've enjoyed it up until where it's at,
dude. I when it came to the 1,000-Year Blood War, that it sounded cool in retrospect, but then it just became a little.
It is hit or miss for people. Yeah, I have a feeling I'll enjoy it. I have a feeling I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, a lot of Kurosaki.
Yeah, because all of a sudden Kurosaki gets like 2 more origin stories and shit. On top of that, every season he gets a new origin. Like, oh, you were always half Quincy. Like, I'm sorry, excuse me. Like, spoilers. But it's like, come on,
warning,
man.
Just put this before that. Warning.
Sorry. Well, again, it was already
sorry,
the manga.
Not sorry.
It was the manga.
In all fairness, it's been out for like a millennia.
It's been out for like it's been out for like 15 years at this point.
Yeah, so. They should have just finished off with Aizen. And if they were like, it still gave him back his powers, right? But like, just showed it as like a time skip. That's how they should have finished it and gave us a beautiful, like one of the best animes ever. But never, no, they didn't do that. They didn't. Continue with the news.
But going back to that, we got Mashle, Magic and Muscles. There's a lot of hype surrounding this anime adaptation. We got an official trailer finally, and we got confirmation that it's dropping in 2023. It looks super, super good.
Dude, I read book one. I read book one, and it's just like I just have a feeling it's going to be a blast. Like
I'm definitely going to watch.
I just love the concept. Anytime a magician wants to throw hands, but this one doesn't have magic.
Anytime any magician wants to.
I just can't wait for everyone in that show to just be straight shooketh, because they're like waiting for him to cast a spell, and motherfucker just punches the shit out of him. And they just straight shooketh, bro.
I got no magic, but I'm not out of.
But he's throwing hands. He's like, I don't throw wands, I throw hands, bro.
But anyone obviously who's into the slice of life genre of anime, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai has 2 sequels announced. So Rascal Does Not Dream of Sister Venturing and Rascal Does Not Dream of Knapsack have both been announced. They'll both be direct sequels to Bunny Girl Senpai. No release window as to when they'll be dropping, just announcements with a small teaser. The Devil is a Part-Timer season 3 has also been announced. It's dropping in 2023.
Show. Such a funny show.
Yeah, season 2 just finished not that long ago, a few weeks ago, I believe.
I think I have the finale to watch.
Oh. It just ended.
Pretty much everything is ending either last week or this week.
Pretty much, yeah. The anime industry just cleaning up, giving us a little to no breathing room to get into the fall season when everything's action packed. So Fruits Baskets, The Prelude, and then Fairy Tail Dragon Cry are both dropping October 6th on Crunchyroll. Obviously some other anime stuff. This is live action. Alice in Borderland season 2.
I heard good things about that series, actually.
Yeah, there's some. I've heard good things about the
I watched
manga,
the anime
and about the live action series on Netflix. I've been piqued my interest. I just haven't gone around to it. But season 2 of Alice in Borderlands premiering December 22nd on Netflix. We also have 7 Deadly Sins: Grudge of Edinburgh Part 1 is dropping in December. We got a trailer for that.
I ain't got no interest.
And we got a key visual, and I'm just looking at that. I'm just like,
is the animation just as bad as the past couple seasons?
I think it looks a little worse, man.
It can't be worse. It can't be worse.
I like
the animation. The animation is not calling my name. I'm sorry. And I was heavy into 7 Deadly Sins when it first dropped.
The first 2 seasons, I was very heavy, or 3, because it was like season 1 and then like an episode for season 2, and then it was weird. I think the first 3 seasons were.
I watched the first 2 or 3, and then the animation dipped, and I was like, "Oh, this is painful, dog."
I still liked it. I just think a lot of the extra movies and the milking of everything is just kind of like throws me off. I was like, I didn't like any of the other movies that they did. Like, and
I just watched one movie that I didn't really care for.
Yeah, and
it was like they're something with angels or something like that.
Yeah, well, all of them have angels, for the most part.
Oh, okay.
It's just, but it's like they just go off so much off of the, it's all, honestly, it's the same thing with the One Piece ones. The One Piece ones, if you just look at them as completely separate like movies and just based on the universe, like as a multiverse thing, they're amazing movies. But it's like they don't help anything with the continuity. They don't really do anything to like
which I never
make them
really got that.
stronger. I don't know why either. But
Yeah,
at the
I
same
don't know why
time,
they
it
do
is what
that.
it is.
It's like
But
all the Naruto movies. The
Yeah,
same
like I
thing.
never really
fucking
understood.
money.
Like I watched a random Bleach movie and it was
Mhm.
interesting, but he got like this new form that was kind of cool and he had like bones on his arm and stuff like that. But and it wasn't even like confirmed that like he can never use it again.
Mhm.
But then he never uses it again.
Because it never happened in
Because
the
it
real
never happened.
timeline.
That's like in My Hero, like the last movie that came out, not the
Yeah.
recent one, the second movie where they're fighting the villain 9, and then Deku gives one for
Yep.
all. Well, is it all for? Well, yeah, one for all. He gives it to Bakugo, and then he's
and
like,
that,
"Oh,
and that just
you know, obviously when you transfer that shit, you lose it based on the main anime canon and the manga canon. If you transfer it to somebody, that's it. You're giving up the power. That's it. You're done. And that's the new wielder. That's the new wielder.
Well, technically, they got around it because technically you have to eat the hair, and
yeah,
he didn't do that.
Saying.
He just
That's what I'm saying. He didn't fully transfer it.
He like temporarily gifted it.
So
he loaned it. The
workaround was super super cheap. I feel it was it undercut the meaning of it.
Absolutely.
To be completely honest, and that's something people even the mangaka has teased Bakugo as being one of the vestiges of One for All. So I mean, to see it happen in the movie, and then just obviously the movie's not canon.
Yeah.
And then the way they undercut it, and then to have season 5 kind of when it they showed the vestiges of One for All, and you see a silhouette of someone who looks like Bakugo as one of the vestiges of one of the previous wielders. It's like, don't slap me in the face like that, dog. You can't be doing that to me. But moving on to that, we got The Way of the House Husband season 2, which has amassed a giant following. Season 2 dropping January 2023 on Netflix. Kengan Ashura is
wait, that's
dropping.
the one. I'm sorry. Wait, The Way of the House Husband is the one about the old mafia guy becoming a house.
The Yakuza dude.
And it's like the motion comic. It's like the motion comic more than like an anime.
Yeah, got it. Right. Okay, yeah, I did want to actually watch that. So all right, continue.
So don't get fooled. Don't get
fooled. It's like a motion comic.
Yeah, it's a motion comic. Is not an actual like moving anime.
I'm cool with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
So just be forewarned.
It was kind of marketed in the US as like an anime, but
exactly.
It's more of a motion comic.
Yeah, we talked about it on the anime pod. Speaking of motion comics, you guys remember when Netflix had all those Marvel motion comics? Do you remember that era?
Yeah,
I remember that era.
Good times.
Dude, when they did Extremis was the shit.
Bro,
right? It was one of the best ones there.
They gotta bring those shits back.
You know what it is? I think it was because it's kind of like do you remember the Young Avengers one? The next Avengers. Yeah. Remember the one that they gave that timeline, Ultron 1, and they Captain America, Black Widow had to get. So all those are owned by a different company. So that's why they're not on like any Disney Plus or anything of the sort. So that's the reason why you don't see them.
Would that explain why even the other X-Men anime ones and all that stuff is just chilling on Netflix rather than Disney Plus?
Yep. Because there's a different studio that got it, that did it, and like the distribution is still like.
I gotta love how they were just like dishing out licensing back in the day.
Back in the day, everybody had it. Everybody had it. Now everybody's trying to monopolize everything.
And it was also like often like very specific too. Like, oh, do you want the license just to be able to make merch and only merch, and that's it? That'll play you in the ass. Or like, do you want
times have changed?
Or just like with the Hulk, do you want rights to just be able to make solo Hulk movies? Just that very specific thing. We can,
What about Spider-Man? What about Spider-Man?
You want to share the rights now, though?
Oh my god!
You guys could just make the merch. You guys make money off the merch, but we make all the big bucks from the movies, though. You know what I mean? Well, I think it's 50-50.
Oh boy!
Lastly, for the anime news, we'll wrap up with Aggressico season 5, which we got a first look at it this past weekend with the official announcement that it is returning. I love Aggressico. Anybody who's seen my Twitter rants of Aggressico knows that I love Aggressico. She is my inner spirit animal. Raging and cuteness. I'm there for it. I'm there for it. I can't get enough of it. It's great. Anyone who hasn't watched it is a super easy binge. Even with the bulk load of episodes, they're like 10-15 minute episodes. So it's super digestible.
I don't see it on here, but also Spy Family second core is coming back soon.
Yeah, that premieres this weekend too, on Saturday, October 1st.
Along with like My Hero and stuff.
My Hero Academia, which I'm hyped for. Obviously, I love My Hero Academia. So I've been waiting a whole year for that. Itching, and we gotta wait until 2023 for Attack on Titan. I'm dying. I'm dying on the inside, bro. I can't wait to see Spy Family though. I'm hyped. Yeah. I'm hyped. Ed, if you haven't read or watched Spy Family,
I'll get to it eventually.
Highly recommend. Once you're done with Kingdom Hearts, okay?
Dude.
I do. Need
Spy Family is probably my number one manga and anime recommendation of the year.
For the past couple of years. That'll be a high.
Well, remember, I'm still reading all of One Piece and all that. Waiting until the actual Wano arc finishes so that I can just watch the whole arc like in fruition, because I also have to skip a whole bunch of fillers. But I just want to see certain things actually animated. But I was like, dude, I just love the manga.
Bro, honestly, I've only watched all but 6 episodes of One Piece, and I mean to revisit at some point.
I think I stopped at like 200,
but
I made it to like 200.
I've seen clips, like fight clips from the current arc, from the Wano arc.
Wano is oh my god,
those
gorgeous
fights, bro. The animation, I'm just like, bro, this is chef's. Like, I need to find a way to just like seclude myself from the entirety of world, the work, the nerdy basement, parental spousal, all responsibilities.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, I need to get in there and watch all the One Piece, because I'm just like, those fights, I'm missing out.
Yeah, I stopped at the end of Skypiea, so I'm pretty far behind.
So once you pass Skypiea, that's when shit really gets like hardcore. But like again, the thing is, those arcs that you just watched, they're so heavily referenced now, because like people are like the big YouTubers, they're like, back in Skypiea, such and such and such. You're just like, fuck, like, okay, my bad. Sorry that I disrespected you, Skypiea. My bad. Sorry, your little wings.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
It really is one of those situations.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
It is a huge show. It's a huge show, and just like Miguel, I can tell you, when Miguel did it, he was watching a lot of it off of his phone, and then when it started getting into the big stuff, like, don't judge him a little, but it was because like he was able to just like walk the dog, watch it on his phone, do this, do that, and then eventually he was like, okay, these episodes I need to watch on the CV and shit. So that's how he finished. He went through. He caught up to episode 1000 in about 3 months exactly.
Damn.
Legitimately nonstop, did not fucking stop. And I'm like, dude, I again, like you just said, I'm not a fan of him saying that he was watching shit on his phone. I do not like that. But again, those were the dubbed ones, so he just let those go through so he could listen and get through it. But dude, he made it to episode 1000 within 3 months of the announcement. So
nice.
Hey, I'm just saying, there's a way.
Huge shout out to Miguel, by the way.
Miss you, brother.
For grinding it out. Miss you, brother. But yeah, moving on to some more Netflix centric stuff that came out of Tudum this past week. And this is not everything. If you guys want our full coverage on Tudum, social media, bro, you already know where to find us. That's where we do most of our coverage. We just talk about a little, the most important pieces of information here and stuff. Because a lot of stuff that was released to Tudum was either behind the scenes looks, trailers, blue gag reels and stuff like that. We can't talk about that on the pod, and we're not going to be showing footage of that stuff. We don't want copyright marks and strikes and stuff like that. So we're just going to give you the important stuff, which is release dates. So Enola Holmes season, I was about to say season 2, but Enola Holmes 2 is dropping on November 4th. Manifest fans, obviously, I know you guys have been hyped about this. Season 4, the final season, part 1, that's also dropping November 4th.
Sorry,
Boozer,
no, Boozer was just like, he was like,
I just never heard of it.
You never heard of Manifest, bro? You missed all the hype surrounding that when it got canceled on them.
I missed it all. I missed it all.
CBS? On CBS or NBC? I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. It got canceled like before season 3 ended, and there was plans for a 4th season. and they got shopped around like immediately. Like, oh, we need to find a home because the actors and the fans were rallying. We need to find a home, blah, blah, blah. Then Netflix came in swooped up with the money they don't have, and was just like, you know what, manifest, we got you, we'll save you. So season 4 is the final season. Part 1 drops November 4th.
They pulled a Lucifer. That's what it did.
They pretty much.
Lucifer. They did.
Yeah.
They did pull the Lucifer on.
Oh my god!
But yeah, we got an official premiere day for Wednesday. Obviously, that's dropping November 23rd. Obviously, for To Doom, we got a nice clip for that. We got Jenna Ortega speaking about the character and how she brought her to life, what she wanted, what she wanted to do to make her feel authentic to herself. And obviously, this is the first time Wednesday Addams is being portrayed by a Latina on, in live action. So that was something that she wanted to bring to the forefront and stuff like that, and speak about that representation on screen, which is, pretty dope. For those who like toxic relationships and, season 4, I know we all hype about it. We all love toxic shit to some degree. Season 4, part 1 is dropping February 10th. This is all 2023 dates, by the way. So part 1, February 10th, part 2, dropping exactly a month later on March 10th, 2023. So, fantasy world, obviously everybody loves The Witcher. That's been a huge, huge hit on Netflix. Henry Cavill has been an absolute gem as Geralt. Geralt, let me say it correctly, as Geralt, not Geralt, Geralt. So we're getting our first spinoff, well, the second spinoff, because we got the anime. I
still have to check that out.
Oh, so good.
Bro, don't tell me that right
now. So
good.
Don't
tell me that right now. Do not tell me that right now. Do not tell me that.
I just did, my bad.
I am appalled by that revelation,
bro. Like, there's literally, if you had time to watch all that other bad shit, it's just an hour and a half. Like, come on.
Because me and my fiance wanted to watch it because we watched the show, and we've had so much other stuff we've been watching with like Game of Thrones and all this.
Trust me, I know there's a lot of
content. We've let it slide.
There's a lot of content to watch.
We'll get to it.
This is why I haven't finished Kingdom Hearts, because I had to be watching all the other content. All right, I have other priorities and I can't do it. But guess what? I did it. I'm on Kingdom Hearts number 2 now. Final mix, brother. Fucking finally got to it. God, Chain Memories took forever. Continue.
Yo, Ed, you okay there? You sound like you're suffering a little bit. You want to let something out, bro?
Dude, honestly, a little bit? Chain of Memories took way longer than it should have. I remember on the Game Boy, I freaking destroyed that game because it was just like, it was something different. On the PS3, I guess, the PS4, they upped the fucking level, made it way harder for no reason. Stupid fucking cards. Chain of Memories, beautiful story though, beautiful story. Now I'm finally on Kingdom Hearts 2, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, and I had to watch 2 hours of 358-2. I didn't know it was actually just a movie. It was literally just cutscenes. So I don't know if I'm missing something from the original when it was on PSP. So that pisses me off. But the cutscenes were great. Got a lot of backstory to it. And now I'm finally playing part 2, and I'm just about to go find Sora and so on and so forth. But
so we wish you the best of luck on your Kingdom Hearts.
Thank you.
Okay, bro? Because you sound stressed. You sound stressed. You're going through it.
I forgot how long video games take, and I see YouTubers are saying, "Hey, I just sped run this in 2 hours." I'm like, when the fuck do you have 2 hours to play?
Find like glitches and stuff like that.
Yeah. So one of them, they were
if they speedrunners always find those glitches that let you skip like 3 levels and shit at a time.
It's insane. One of them said it was like,
they're not really playing the game.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, this one has this loop. If you just do this, and then he just does that, and I'm like that's.
Hey, I just finished breaking this game, and now I'm done.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's pretty much. I love the story.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
But what's your season 3?
But
right?
yeah, going back to The Witcher, obviously, Boozer, you need to get on that. That serves as a prequel to the live action series, even though it's in anime form. There's a nice connective tissue at the end, which is super, super dope. So I think whenever you get around to watching it,
I know it's not an anime, but I noticed we never talked about I don't know if you watched it, but Vox Machina.
No, we had
That was really
Aaron.
good.
I love that.
I never watched
Yeah,
it.
definitely watch it. It was
got to
really
watch
good.
it.
That
Really,
one's
really good.
worth like the oh my god, it's amazing, just fucking
Yeah.
amazing. That's another one. Yeah, so let's get back to The Witcher.
But yeah,
let's get to this.
So The Witcher Blood Origin got an official premiere date, so that's dropping Christmas Day on Netflix. And then Henry Cavill also announced that The Witcher season 3 is premiering in summer 2023. So we got too, yeah, we got a ways to go to see Geralt again, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, we did get a nice behind the scenes look at, you know, them filming season 3. Obviously, you know, production on that did kind of halt for a little bit. You know, there were people who caught COVID and, you know, on the set, so they had to pause production and all that stuff. And, you know, we don't know how 100 if Henry Cavill was still 100% from that injury he suffered filming the last season. So we don't know. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. So I would rather them take their time, give us a super dope story as they've been doing with these 2 seasons. So I'm looking forward to Blood Origin. Michelle Yeoh, the cast is great. I want to see more Witchers and more elves and all that good stuff. You know, I enjoy my fantasy. That's all.
Looking for another banger song.
Oh, for sure. I think that's a given at this point. Where anything Witcher, and in any medium. But yeah, we finally got the official trailer for The Last of Us, the series on HBO, which looks super dope, and it's almost a 1-to-1 adaptation of the video game. Almost. Obviously, you got the slight tweaks and the differences and stuff. You want to, you know, there's certain things you can adapt to live action and you can't. But man, oh man, did they deliver on the clickers? They deliver on the clickers, and you cannot have The Last of Us without some creepy ass clickers. So I am ready to just not necessarily
some of the coolest looking monsters.
This
trailer was
amazing.
Clickers. Okay.
Oh, you know.
Wait, remember, I told you
they're called the clickers. Yeah,
because I haven't finished Kingdom Hearts yet. It was just in the list. It's in my box list. Like, Last of Us is after Kingdom Hearts.
How could I forget?
It's fine. I'll just watch the show, and that's fine. I'll watch the show.
That works. It's not a problem.
I'll watch the show.
That works too.
Come on, you know, I'm not going to say no to Pedro Pascal, and then also freaking what's her name from Game of Thrones, the freaking little bear herself.
Yep.
Like, right. I'm not going to say no to her. Like, what? Oh my God, Lyanna, right? Lyanna Tarf, right?
Well, that was her name in what you call it,
Game of Thrones, right?
Game of Thrones.
So that's all that really matters.
Is it though? Well, let's get the actress at Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. No, just kidding. But yes, like, she was already a badass there, freaking like staring down a fucking giant like freaking walker. So
yeah, we honestly next pod. I know we were supposed to talk about Stargirl this pod, but next pod I think we gotta go back and watch and talk about House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, work.
Definitely. Well, okay. Definitely gotta talk about it. If you, you're up to date.
Let's talk about this later. We'll talk about it later. Because no, we're not. I'm not up to date.
I'm not up to date either. I'm not up to date.
I'm an episode behind.
I'm just saying. All episodes behind. So
okay, we're on the same boat. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. We'll talk about it eventually. But yeah, so moving on to Marvel, because there's a lot of exciting stuff that was, you know, there's some exciting stuff. There's a little disappointing news, but overall, it's some exciting stuff coming out of Marvel. So first and foremost, we'll get the bad news out of the way. Blade has lost his director. Bassam Tariq has, you know, stepped down from the director's chair and decided to just be an executive producer on the film because the film production schedule keeps getting delayed. So it has officially caused scheduling conflicts with his personal schedule. So he just can't direct the movie anymore. This could be code for either creative differences. This is almost a repeat of what happened with Scott Derrickson and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where there were some slight delays, and then they officially came out, you know, there's creative differences. He's stepping down, but he's going to be an executive producer on it. We're going to search for a new director. So filming was supposed to start for this movie back in July. right? So over the summer, it was supposed to start filming. Got pushed back to October. So it was supposed to start filming next month. Then got delayed again. And it was going to start filming in November. So now Marvel has to kind of scramble a little bit to find, not necessarily a little bit, a lot of it, to find a director if, to avoid any further delays in the production schedule. Now, there is chatter online from some insiders or, some verified sources who work within the industry. And I'm not going to say they're official insiders. There's just stuff that they're official people who work within the industry officially. They're just hearing chatter from their personal sources. Obviously the script is only 90 minutes long, so 90 pages. In film, anyone who knows about film, each page is a minute long. So 90 pages means the movie's it's an hour and a half long. There was only like 2 fight scenes. Supposedly it was super lackluster, according to this person. Okay. Supposedly Mahershala Ali was very frustrated with the process. And apparently Kevin Feige is also being spread a little too thin with everything that is going on over at Marvel Studios, given all the projects, the delays, everything that needs to be reworked, searching for directors, writers, cast members, and things like that. So I don't know. This just could all be chatter. Take that with a grain of pink Himalayan salt. None of this is official word from Marvel themselves. Obviously, they're going to deny. Yeah. They're going to refuse to comment on any of this until they are ready to make any official announcements. Yeah.
It is interesting how quick, though, people are just like taking this as absolute fact. And they're like, of course, this movie is garbage already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those reactionary people, immediate reactionary people. Impulse reaction. They hear that and they're like, oh, well,
Marvel's failing again.
The MCU is in shambles. Oh my God. So, I mean, it is what we just got to wait and see what happens. I mean, honestly, I mean, it could be a great thing. It's too early to tell. Nothing has been filmed yet. So we don't really know how good or how bad this movie is really going to be. Besides, you got Mahershala Ali as the lead character.
How bad could it be?
How bad could it really be? Let's be honest here. But yeah, moving on to Fantastic Four, Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer are set to write the script for the movie. And now that we have, directors, and we have, which is, Matt Shakman from WandaVision, and we have script writers, now Marvel is going to officially start focusing on casting the Fantastic Four. So, that's the last thing they're focusing on right now. And I'm going to safely assume we'll get some sort of announcement maybe next year at Hall H or maybe at D23 next year. So if they're casting now and that's what they're focusing on, we're definitely going to get an official announcement sometime in the summer of 2023. A huge tidbit of news that dropped literally today as we're recording this episode. Harrison Ford was or is currently in talks to replace William Hurt in the MCU as General Ross in the Thunderbolts movie.
I just don't believe that.
Yeah, that's hard.
I just don't believe that.
Again, this is just chatter. Take that with a grain of pink Himalayan salt. None of this has been.
I take it with a singular grain.
A singular grain.
Yeah, I just hope it was a was. I think it was. I hope it was a was in talks because I'm like, honestly, Harrison.
I don't even think it happened. I don't even think it happened.
Yeah, it's when I came across it and I just read the information like 3 times over. I'm just like, I don't picture.
Damn, I'm sorry, Boozer. You just chugged the shit out of that fucking bottle, by the way. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm looking off screen. I'm looking at Ozzy talking, but I'm just I look off screen. I'm like, holy shit.
Your boy got thirsty. My medicine that I take give me some dry mouth.
It happens. It happens.
Oh my God. So yeah, Harrison Ford.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't see this as something that is plausible.
I just don't see him interested in a superhero role at all.
Yeah. I just don't see him as a menacing Thunderbolt Ross or even as a Red Hulk if that's what they're gonna go.
I don't even think he could pull off a mustache. Like that's the biggest thing about Thunderbolt Ross.
Can we let's just keep him as Indiana Jones and Han Solo and all that.
Fine.
I'm good on that.
Yeah,
because I'm on that.
because I'm actually very worried about him with Indiana Jones, 12 now? Because like that's what it feels like. There's so many Indiana Jones. I'm more worried that he's going to hurt himself running away from some small rock or something. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, you're not even supposed to be Indiana Jones anymore, bro. But I do want to see this dude come back into it. I forget. Oh my God. I'm so bad with names, but you know, he was just in Everything Everywhere All at Once and all that. Like he has his resurgence.
I forgot his name.
You know, he's coming back. So that's all I'm really hoping for. But
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So long story short, Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. I don't think.
I don't think that conversation even happened.
I don't see that at all.
I feel like this was just made up.
Yeah.
It's very possible that it was made up. It was very, very possible. I have his name.
Someone was like, I want some clicks today.
It was Ke Huy Quan, who came out of Everything Everywhere All at Once. But yeah, moving on from that is the Quantisons, man. I'm telling you, getting a resurgence. He's everywhere. Happy for him. But yeah, moving on from that, you got an update on Armor Wars, you know, who a lot of people initially thought was, you know, secretly being canceled because there was no major announcements for it, you know, prior to San Diego Comic-Con this year. There was no presence for the show at San Diego Comic-Con in Hall H. We got a little update on it, you know, at D23, saying, you know, what's still happening. Don Cheadle is back. What is going to happen? You know, when we got a new logo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now Marvel has decided that for the story that they're telling is a story that's better told as a feature film rather than a Disney Plus series. So the series has been upgraded to a feature film. And you know, everybody who's working on this, who was working on the series, will still remain on the film, including the writer Jasiah Lester, and then Don Cheadle and all that. Obviously, will be starring in that movie, and it will be releasing in theaters. So
I take this as a W.
I take this as a whole dub.
That is huge.
Yeah, I take that as a whole dub. I'm not even mad. I mean, anybody who would be mad at any Disney Plus series being up to a feature film.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I think it's just even better that, like, you know, Don is getting his starring role for this.
Right,
like, and I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Exactly. Because you know he does. You know
he's very likable as
Rhodey
too.
He's always been the supporting character, always right next to Iron Man. You know, not saying that he's playing second fiddle. You know, he's been front and center, but you know, he's always been the right hand man to Tony Stark. But now to see him take a more prominent role, be at the forefront, you know, he's also going to be in Secret Invasion. Now he's going to headline his own solo film essentially with Armor Wars. I think that's great, and that does a lot for the representation in Hollywood, because now we're going to have another black lead, you know, black superhero as the lead character in a feature film. You know, right up there with Captain America: New World Order. So that's super wonderful news and something to look forward to and be excited about. So the next major news, which basically broke the internet for this week, I think this is like literally the news.
Broke me.
This is the news of the week essentially, and this came completely out of left field. Completely, like I just saw that after work, and I'm just like, wait, what? I'm like, nah, this got to be some kind of clickbait account tweeting this shit. And I look at the source, and then I go back and trace the source, the original source. I'm like, wait,
is this a deep fake?
No, this is real. This is real. This is a pre-recorded video message. This is official news from the actor himself. So obviously everybody knows by now, but you know, Deadpool 3 has officially been announced and confirmed to be part of the MCU and all that. We got an official release date finally, which is September 6, 2024. And the biggest caveat out of that big announcement is the fact that Hugh Jackman will be returning once again as Wolverine, aka Logan. So now, obviously, that's super exciting. Anyone who's upset about Hugh, it sounds I'm lagging a little bit. It seems like, but yeah, but you know, that's super exciting news. To see Hugh Jackman come back, even though he said he wanted to retire because you know the workout regimen for Wolverine is pretty strenuous on his. You know, he's much older now, in his mid-50s probably, I think. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Obviously, there were some people who were upset about it because Logan happened and he died in Logan, and you know what I mean. But it is what, as Booz and I were talking, you know, off air. I mean, that doesn't take away the fact that Logan happened, and as they
Mm-hmm.
explained it, they will not be disrespecting Logan. They will not be undoing what happened in Logan. That's
Hugh
its
Jackman
own
wouldn't do it
universe.
if it would.
It's exactly. Hugh Jackman wouldn't do it if it would. If it would disrespect, the Logan film in any capacity. And I'm glad that they're, Marvel is respecting that film to that degree.
Dude, if Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman just want to dick around as friends and be their comic book characters, I say let them. Like at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't take away from Logan. I could only I'm assuming he probably isn't going to have to do like the crazy regimen, because I have a feeling they're going to put him in an actual Wolverine suit. So
That's
therefore,
all I'm waiting for.
He's not going to have to get the fucking crazy veined out buff. So he'll probably stay. He stays in. I'm pretty sure he stays in good shape anyway.
I mean, he's still pretty fit for his age.
He'll probably be more in a a muscle padded suit, so he doesn't have to go crazy. Like
they'll probably do him like
always had him shirtless.
They'll probably do him like they did Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, with the suit that wasn't an actual suit.
It wasn't an actual suit,
CGI. Yeah.
But it looked great.
I didn't know that actually. That's I thought this was just the CGI, because
everything. That's crazy.
Wow.
They did a good job. Yeah.
I had no idea.
We know Deadpool has like a time belt. I don't really think they give a fuck about continuity either way. But either way, I just see them having it's probably just gonna be a fun fucking story.
It's like it's gonna be a nice buddy story. Nice, kicking the shits with each other and shit.
There's so much like the material that they could use just from Deadpool Wolverine stories. They have so much fun. All it is pretty much them getting together, killing each other, but then killing other people at the same time. It's just that's all it is, and that's all we need. Like that's really all we need. Everything.
That's all we need when it comes to Wolverine.
And then of course Hugh Jackman in the actual Wolverine suit. That's all.
And then I think that's the perfect send off before.
That's the thing. I think he never got it.
Wolverine.
Exactly. He never got that suit.
Fox did tease the actual costume, the yellow and with the brown, not the yellow and the blue one, the yellow and the brown, the original, the first suit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to get that tease all these almost a decade, 15 years later.
Fox was allergic to doing accurate comic book suits. They even tried at the end of Apocalypse with that little teaser at the end, and those suits looked fire. Cyclops and Nightcrawler. The thing is,
they look super good.
They were
and then the next movie,
they were like, here's some orange yellow jumpsuits.
Yeah.
What?
Gone.
They had gold at their fingertips. They had the suits made. People were stoked, and they said, "We hear you, but we're just gonna scrap it."
Do you know how hyped I got when I saw Nightcrawler in
his suit
comic book accurate costume?
Cyclops, perfect.
Cyclops,
pretty much everyone. Literally, I had no complaints with any of those suits. None of them.
No, yeah,
and they were
amazing.
And the studio just said, "Nah, son."
But yeah, I think now when we see Wolverine in Deadpool 3, we're definitely gonna get the yellow costume.
Absolutely,
and it'll be the perfect way to send them all. Like
100%.
Here is your chance to finally see Hugh Jackman in the comic book accurate costume,
he deserves.
He deserves, and then it'll be the same vein as getting John Krasinski as Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Pure fan service.
Yes, but even more because this man
because now this
earned
something.
It. Yeah, he's just been in this so long. He's
for like 20
it.
years now. So it's like he's earned it. He's put in the work essentially, and it deserves to at least suit up as Wolverine for real, just one time. So I'm super excited about this movie now, and obviously we'll see if they decide to do anything X-Force related and things like that, which I'm kind of hoping they do. But I just want to see what kind of hijinks Deadpool gets into now that he's part of the MCU. You know
I have no complaints with Deadpool 1 or 2. So
Deadpool 2 was a little weak to me. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I just want to see what he's able to do now that now he has a much bigger playground. You know, in Fox he was restricted to just that universe. You know what I'm saying? Just the mutants. Obviously, he's a mutant, so he can only interact with those characters. He never even got to interact with the Fantastic Four, and they weren't necessarily. Granted, they were a thing, but around that time they weren't necessarily a thing anymore. But now that he's in the MCU, the Avengers exist, all these new characters exist: Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Daredevil.
I just want to see him talk to Spider-Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to see him being able to interact with all those characters now, and just Ryan Reynolds, I know he's just gonna come off, off the top with some crazy shit, and he's gonna be able to get away with a lot of cool stuff in the MCU. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to the most with Deadpool. Now. But yeah, moving on from that, Stargirl, as we were mentioning earlier, Greg Basinger has officially confirmed the crossover that we mentioned on the podcast a few weeks ago, between Stargirl, Titans, and Doom Patrol. Obviously, that was all confirmed via a set photo. She did not mention anything else outside of that. None of the respective actors from their respective shows have mentioned anything else outside of that one set photo where she's pictured with Gar, Beast Boy.
Which is funny because technically he's a part of both teams, so that could be the biggest teaser and be the crossover technically all in itself, because he was a part of the Doom Patrol, he was a part of the Titans. It's they could cop out like that if they wanted to, but I hope not.
And I mean, seeing that is the CW and it's not on HBO Max, I can see them going that route, where it's just using Beast Boy, as he was, as you just mentioned, he's a member of both teams. Well, here's your Doom Patrol Titans crossover.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it.
You're welcome.
You got it. You're welcome.
Thank me later.
Yeah, exactly. Thank me later. But I'm hoping we get to see the full team, both of them. I'm hoping Stargirl appears in the other respective shows as well. It's not just them appearing in the Stargirl show. I think they can do some cool stuff with that. I know they all appeared in their respective crossover back when. What was that major crossover that was going on for the Arrowverse? I forgot what it was that we got.
It was like for a millisecond though.
Yeah, that we got to see all the
Infinite Earths. Yeah,
we got to see all the.
It was Crisis, right?
Crisis.
It was Crisis.
Yeah,
it's for like a millisecond.
Yeah. So I think I want to see a little more than that. But moving on to another DC project, which is Dead Boy Detectives. We got Lucas Gage, who has been cast as the Cat King in that series, and that's obviously dropping on HBO Max. No real release date or release window for that. They haven't really started filming yet. They're still casting, so that's one of the first casting news that we got for that show. Obviously, for those who don't know, it takes place within the Sandman universe, so that's super, super dope. But moving on to other just random news, we got Storm Reed, who's been cast as the lead role of The Nun 2. So spooky season around the corner, so I figured it was appropriate to kind of drop that news there. Final Destination 6 has found its directors and duo Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein. Spider-Man No Way Home, or MCU trilogy director John Watts is set to produce. And Guy Busick and Laurie Evans are set to write the script for that movie. So
they really just want to mess with our existential crisis, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they just couldn't end
pretty
it.
Pretty much. They would want to re-traumatize us and shit, but it's all good. I'm here for it. I can't complain. But yeah, we got to wrap everything up real nicely, and on an exciting note, we got a huge set of cast announcements for Netflix Avatar series. This cast is already stacked as it is. The representation is there. Newcomers, we got a couple of stars who are big names in other shows and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the show, and it seems like they're heading in the right direction with what they've teased so far. But I'm just going to run off some names of who they'd added to the show now. So we got Arden Cho playing June. We got Utkarsh Ambakar, sorry if I mispronounced that, as King Boomy. We got George Takei as Takai. George Takai as Kai. Look at that. Kind of rhymes. I mean, Amber Mid Thunder, if you guys definitely know her, you guys saw her in Prey. She'll be playing Princess Yue. And Danny Pudi will be playing the mechanist, or the mechanist, however you want to pronounce that. But yeah, some good casting for this show. Like I said, this series is stacked with established stars and newcomers, and the representation. Obviously, this is not a show that's fully considered an anime, but is anime inspired.
Yeah.
So, the character designs are very anime inspired. So to see all that representation there is great. And I'm excited to finally see some footage. They've been kind of holding on to that BTS footage the same way they've been holding on to the One Piece ones for dear life. And I'm just
Close
like,
to the best.
Netflix, you got to show me a little something. I'm excited for the casting news, but you got to show me a nice little behind the scenes footage. Show me one of this, show me what the temples look like. Can you show me the air temple? And I mean, like, show me some official costumes. Like, that's what I want to see at this point now. And I mean, but yeah, that's pretty much all we got. There's trust when we say there's a lot more to talk about, and we just don't have all the time in the world to talk about it. That's the only problem. We're trying to really keep these podcast episodes to an hour and a half, so you guys can fully enjoy the full scope of the episodes, and obviously fully intake all the info dumping that we provide whenever I'm running off the lips with the news bits and whatever. But yeah, we'll be back. I don't know when. I don't want to give a specific day, but we'll be back next episode. You'll see us. In the meantime, we have a crap ton of interviews on the Nerdy Basement YouTube channel. We got more reviews for Fantastic Fest and a New York Film Festival. We got reviews for Don't Worry Darling, more comic book reviews all on the website. So make sure you guys are supporting the website and check that out. Listen, we implore you to follow us literally everywhere. While we may not post in one area, it's definitely covered in another area. So make sure you follow us everywhere so you're not missing out on your nerdy content, your nerdy reviews, and your nerdy news. That's what we do around here. But that's going to do it for us this week. As always,
stay nerdy, my friends.
Peace.